Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. How are you all? It was just a seam ripper fest on Thursday, wasn't it? This looks so much more rich in person. You can kind of get it if I lift it up. If I I had a little, I had my Olfa handle near it, and it brought out the yellow in the photo. If I'm moving it around, you can see it can't dull the color as much, but it looks really good. Some of my sewing choices have definitely altered, like the way these pleats are from the photo, because they press the seam down and it's top stitched below the yoke seam. So I'm kind of tempted to top stitch down, but I don't know, maybe I won't. Maybe just leaving it clean like this. Hi, Michelle. Yay, from the camper van. We need to talk more about this camper van. I would like to know more. Are you on your own? With your family? And like, yeah, I want to know more, but I'm not going to like make you disclose too much here. Hi, Dawn. Yeah, it snowed here yesterday. Talking about rain, it actually snowed here. I didn't come into this office yesterday, but it snowed a lot. And my parents are still like probably lots of snow on the ground because they're just like a few miles away. And this is considered the mountains, like it is up. It's the foothills of the Sierras. Hi, Hillary. I was gonna say hi, Hiya. Hi, Hillary. Hello, Michelle. Again. Hi, Aisha. Sorry. So I'm already like distracted because of my dilemma with this top stitching at the center front. Usually I will try and figure out what I'm gonna do before the next stream, but I didn't because I've just been busy. I've been doing lots of things. So I have this pressed and ready to top stitch down. But my whole idea, and one of the reasons I really loved this top and the contrast, was the 2 rows that would go seamless down, but my 2 rows are not gonna line up with that. And now I'm wondering if I marked these wrong, but the thing is, if I had marked them the other way, this would be further away from center front, and maybe that would be the point, right? You would have this line 3/8 of an inch over here, and then you could fit a top stitching line here. You know what I mean? So I think if you want the 2 rows of top stitching, you should make sure, like do the math, and make sure that if you want top stitching here, it's going to line up, because mine's not. You know, and it's all ready to go. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Tiffany. You made it. Just having the small. Oh, nice. That sounds cozy. I love it. The dog. I was thinking that I really need to get the heck out of Dodge. You know, like, I don't have many places to go, like to visit people, you know? So I've been thinking like I need to just do an adventure or something, and I could just bring Loki. My only issue is the cat. The cat adopted us, man. I think, I don't know, we were talking in chat this morning about trips, like people taking really big trips, like people are taking trips to Spain, and there's sewing trips or knitting trips and things like that. And I think I just need to do something like that, like just go on one of those sewing trips. I don't know. I don't really, I just want to like go out. I just want to go somewhere, and it'd be kind of nice if someone figured out where all the fabric stores were. Or maybe I just don't do a sewing trip. Maybe I just go on a trip. Maybe this summer would be better because it'll be kind of warm and it's fire season and it's a little stressful. That'd be a good time to go, right? All right, so what do we think about the top stitch? Do I just skip the top stitch? Do I do it and it's not lined up with these top tucks, right? Because we're talking like, let me show you where it would be if I can. Let's see. If I edge stitch where this is, okay, we get right on the edge. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Can you see that? That's what would happen. It doesn't look that bad. It's definitely on the inside of these stitch lines. Hi, Jenna. Welcome. You've seen cats on campsites and leaves. Try to get... Oh, fun. That's a nice little treat. You try and go once a month. I like that. Why does it bug me so much? Hi, Amy. How's it going? Hello, Stitch Itch. Welcome. I'm contemplating my misaligned potential top stitch lines along the center front. I'm looking at the camera, at the video. Well, kind of, Susan. I could, it is into the seam. So I could unfold it here and just like graze over, you know, like it would be too narrow here, but it would catch it like here. It's kind of wide. Do you think it would be too wide? Like that looks really wide to me. It's like obviously a little bit not straight either. Right, Hillary? That's what I say. When in doubt, don't. For most things in life, when in doubt, don't. Well, let's just come back to this later. I can do this anytime before the end, right? Before the hem. And even if the hem was done, I can still do it. And I have to give myself a backup plan, so I'm not too worried about it. But my backup plan is that I would just edge stitch this on the inside to itself, fold this back, edge stitch it. That is a legit seam finish. And then it would just be on the inside. It would just mean that I would be ironing this seam open probably when I pull it out of the laundry. That's it. That's not a bad thing, right? Is this your color, Amy? This is Merchant and Mills. I just don't know. Linen cotton. My husband bought it as a gift for me from Sew Bow in Boulder, Colorado. It's our color, yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to wear it. Okay, let's just work on these crazy sleeves. So I was gonna lay them all out, but remember I numbered them. So basically I could just pick this one up, flip it over, pick the next one. That's my plan, because I numbered all these on the wrong side. So I feel like I don't need to make this very complicated. And I've already sewn one sleeve, which is right here, and it was very easy to do. So this one's not top stitched. I can already see someone snarky being like, whoa, look after that lady. I think like the reason I'm not a big fan of that is it looks really wide, but you're right. Like I could just stitch it like that and then it would just be, oh my gosh, don't let this, it was like this, right? Like this, like that. Okay, methodical. I wasn't sure if I would like how wide it is, you know? I'm just making sure I'm actually on the right one, because I don't think it'll line up this way exactly. That's the thing you have to console yourself with, is that most of these won't line up if you do it the wrong way. Oh man, come on. I spent all this time getting you ready. Oh, I just felt that pop out of the tension disc. The tension is so high because of this top stitch thread. I think partly it's because the bobbin isn't wound tight enough. Because I did hold it a little bit, but it is thicker thread. And the tension, it just doesn't like the tension. Can you please get in the needle? Oh my goodness. Holy. Okay. Let's sew a little bit first. Yeah, see, it's like, it's gonna pop out of that tension disc. Let's see. Kind of wish this one thread guide was a little lower because it just wants to pull out of that disc. And once it does, there's no point, right? Here we go. Hey, Sylvia. You think so? I think that's hard. It's hard to capture this color on camera. Why is that not reaching right there? It did before. Okay, 3/8 inch seam. Now you don't have to line the sleeve. Because when you turn and top stitch it, you can enclose this little seam allowance. I'm just going to trim each one as I go. All right, so this is number 3. Doop. Doop. Methodical, right? Lots of short seams. I love how I kept putting arrows up on some of these numbers when the number is literally right side up. You know, it's not like they're all 8s. I made such good progress on the travel bag pattern yesterday, and I feel so accomplished because I'm learning Affinity Designer and it's just going so well. You know, like I've never had luck learning things like Illustrator. I've tried many times over the year. I've enrolled in classes and it just didn't click for me. I think it helps that eventually I used a CAD program like for garment drafting, you know. And it was very similar to Illustrator, so I was forced to learn that one. Of course, everywhere you go for a new job, they have a totally different CAD program, so I had to learn that one. It's partly why I took the job. Sometimes you just got to do it so you learn something. And anyway, that helped. I think using things like Procreate have helped. I've played around with like Photoshop and stuff. But Affinity is really easy. I'm sure it's really similar to Illustrator. I don't really know. What are you asking? What is that? Was that to me? Did I miss that? What question you were asking, Sylvia? But anyway, I learned yesterday and successfully accomplished taking my pattern. I input all my pattern pieces. I drafted them in the program, which is fine for a bag, right? It's not clothes. And then I successfully made a print at home version. So cool. So easy too. I think it also helped that I had a little bit of like knowledge, like, oh, well, I would have this question if I didn't know this already, so that helped. The pattern pieces look non-human. Do you know what we're making today? Come on. Keep up, Sylvia, keep up. We are making sci-fi today. Oops. I have a lot of this fabric left, unfortunately. Big forgive. They call the underarm seam an inseam. I think that's really cute. I hope so. The muslin was a little unimpressive. The muslin I have, I just opened this bolt of muslin the other day and when I made this one, and I am not kidding when I tell you it feels like really high quality cotton lawn, like higher quality than art gallery, you know? It is super silky, soft, and drapey, and I was like, what is this? There's no way this is cotton. Like it didn't feel, it felt like it honestly felt like the nicest cotton I'd ever felt for just a plain woven. And so the sleeves were super floppy and drapey, but also kind of larger than they look in the photo. So I was kind of like, oh, I hope I like this. Very fast trimming of seams. Is that good or bad? That emoji for me says you don't like that. Is this your first rodeo with me? I might make you nervous on a few things. I'm kind of a hybrid of home sewing. I started that seam kind of in a weird spot. And production sewing, and there's definitely a lot of things left over. This one doesn't match very well. I think that's me though, not them. All right, should we sew the other one and then press and top stitches, or do you want to press and top stitch one and then sew the other one? Look, it just looks like a plain old sleeve right now. Yeah, so that when we want the whole thing at once. What's that first one? I'll turn this and then I'll sew the other one. Oh yeah, that one better. I've been folding my seam allowances in the points lately. The iron all at once, okay. You guys like the efficiency? That's kind of what I think I would do, because I do like the whole shebang at once, you know, the whole reveal at one time. Hi, Barbara. Nice to see you. Did you get any snow yesterday, Barbara? We did. I doubt you did. I wouldn't mind not having to set the iron camera up more than once, too. Okay, last one. Just a bit of rain, all right. think that I'll go backwards this time. We'll count down 8. Let's see if I can get this one to sew a little better this time. Yeah, it's a little easier from this side. I did add ease to this sleeve. This is the only, there's been a couple of things I'm not quite sure about if I did correctly on this pattern. And on that note though, it says there's ease in the sleeve, and when I sewed the muslin, there was no ease. It like fit so perfectly, it scared me. I was like, oh shoot, because that usually means it's not going to fit very nicely. And on my muslin, I didn't sew the spiky sleeve. I just sewed the lining because I thought that would be a good test. And then when I saw there was no ease, I was like, oh. It almost made me not line the sleeve. I just thought, well, I'll just leave it pokey because that gave me enough ease, because all this architectural stuff adds a lot to the upper arm and making it comfortable. But I just wanted to show how I would fix that if I wanted to. So I did show that in the cutting stream, how I fixed that. So, oh no. Well, I mean, you were still efficient. You were still efficient. You just did the mistakes faster too. It's such a bummer when we forget that there's something up with a garment and we think we've fixed it and then we didn't, and then we're like, fine, I can finally batch sew this, and then it's, you know. Oh, shoot, get that, there we go. That is the really big thing. One of the things that's very exciting and harrowing about working in a factory is that exact thing, because I feel like when you're going through the process of finalizing a pattern, there's a lot of people involved because everybody has to check it and sign off on it in their departments, right? And I feel a little on like tenterhooks when we're doing that, because you just kind of like, because one thing, it's like a house of cards at that point. One little department could be like, why did you spec this? We can't get that anymore. We told you the manufacturer doesn't make that anymore, you know? And then you're like, shoot, will we base this whole pocket design off having this thing or whatever? Or maybe another department can't make their time, like they can't make the time that was initially budgeted for their part, and that can send it back because you might have to redesign it or something, you know. But the worst is if your sewing people don't tell you about something, because there's sometimes like when you're looking for good people to test your thing with the factory, you don't use everybody. You use like a bunch of them, and you pick the ones that are going to tell you something's wrong. But there are sometimes people that are really good and you really want them to be a part of that. But they also don't want to tell you something's wrong, and you don't know that, right? Because they never like speak up, and you don't realize they're not speaking up because they're not speaking up, right? And what'll happen is if something gets through and then you're in production, we've signed off, we're gone, we're out of the whole loop at that point. And then you will hear about 350 really high-end, because we made dry suits at this place I'm thinking of, really, $1,000 items, and they all have a flaw because of one thing someone didn't say. And they're like, they go back to that person. Like, don't get me wrong, they go back and go, hey, did you notice this in production? And they were like, yeah, but I didn't think it was a big issue. And so it's always really good to speak up, because that can cost the job. It can cost the whole factory so much money that we struggle for a whole season because the margins are so low. So it's one thing to make a mistake on 2 things at home, but it's another to make it on like 350 or 5,000, like if it's a budget factory, right? Or a really high volume factory. You will like, especially like sewists want to be able to make their time if they're piece rate. And they're really mad if something gets through and they can't make time very easily. So I don't know. And obviously my experience is kind of dated at this point of working with factories, but because they run them a lot differently. But that was my experience. Like you don't want pushback, but you want a lot of pushback. that's the process. So it's a very nerve-wracking time when you're like, oh, my garment's in testing. And everyone's like, oh, thoughts and prayers, you know? So. Okay, last one. Yeah, I like that Stitch Itch is a fellow Donnie fan because that is such a huge pattern in the guild. Like, it has its own hashtag in the guild. There's so many. Like, I think Monica's made like 7 of them. I mean, I just made a pullover camp shirt last weekend. It's very, very Donnie-ish. It was just my pattern, and I made it, and I modeled it after a new Fiber Mood pattern, which is really cute when it's not, you're not just seeing this part, like I noticed. I don't know. I wanted to show it to you guys, then when I saw it on camera, I was like, oh, it's kind of boring. All right, let's see. Would you batch the Ometras? Oh, shoot. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. You definitely know who is testing your patterns. You are sitting there on the sidelines like this. Sometimes. Because you have to be on hand. It depends. Like, I worked at different factories. I worked at a children's wear factory where we did mostly knits. We did garment dyed and screen printed knits. And I was honestly, and I'm not kidding, a little terrified of the sewing floor supervisor there. She was really good, but she was terrifying. And you would get cussed out. Like, it was very inappropriate, but you would get cussed out. She loved you, but she would cuss you out, you know, if you did something. And I didn't work on production patterns. I worked on all the first patterns because I was pretty young and new. And so, you know, you would do all of the patterns for the initial design run. So they would go, oh, this is our whole collection. We need all these patterns. And then I had like sample makers, and they would make all of those. And then those would go to a show. And then all the reps would see that, and then they would buy whatever they picked. All the designs that made it would go forward, and all the others that didn't make it would get eliminated. And I'd pass, and I'd kind of tidy up those patterns. So the first pattern was just one size, and then I would pass that off to the production pattern drafters, and they would take it from there. So that was kind of my experience there. And my sample crew was amazing. Like, I really loved working with them, and they taught me a lot. And we had like a actual sample maker, and then the sample, they were more like a sample production line, because the sample maker was above them. I don't know if that makes sense. I can explain it better if you want. But I've also worked at another factory where we did outerwear, and it was a much more higher stakes garment, because the fabric was like $40 a yard, or it was for search and rescue, or it was to help people stay alive, or they were like, you know, they were just a lot more in detail. There, I was very integrated through the entire process, which I really liked, for good or bad. So, And I did have, I wouldn't say I had favorites. I valued everybody's kind of opinion. Everyone had a different one. Some people were too nervous to even talk to me, which was interesting. It was a pretty big factory. Pretty big for us. It was about 120 people. But I really liked that. I really liked working with them. It was fun. These points turned out better. All right, let's iron. Oh, I don't have my little stream deck anymore here. That's funny. I just went to reach to push the button. No, we're manually transferring the camera now. But it is really zoomed in, I think. So let's zoom it out a tiny bit. This one, yeah. And like I said, things are done really differently now. Those factory, the outerwear factory is still there. I'll bet it's still very similar. And it's very cool that they are there because it's not easy to make it. But they've been around for like 50 years or more. All right. Yeah, I think these points look pretty good for this kind of loose weave linen. If this is linen, I honestly am a little suspicious that it's linen. It might be cotton. I should go back to the Instagram post where I saw the fabric and see if it says it, or just maybe go to their website. I just sent the post to my husband and was like, aren't you going to Boulder next week? And then he went in and just said, my wife really liked a couple things from a post, and they're green. They were green for sure. They had a bunch of things, but he knew it was the greens, and he got me the denim and this. Ooh, I like the way this is pressing. Those new Helen's Closet pants would be really cute in my denim. And the denim is like 2 yards. So it's a little scary if I can make pants out of them. You know? Trying to see chat, but I can barely see it. Is it very creasy? No, that's why I'm thinking it's not linen. You know what I mean? I like this fabric a lot. It's very open weave, which is kind of interesting. So that would make it so that it just doesn't feel, I don't know, it feels more, I don't know, I'm no expert. It feels very fabric-y. How can I trigger you guys? This is the one I didn't line up well, I think. It's kind of fun. Dyed muslin. God, I hope not, Sylvia. Have you seen the prices of the Merchant and Mills fabrics? Holy. Like, this is nice fabric, but it's pretty basic. I think it's just really expensive because it's imported and it's got the Merchant and Mills name on it. I would not have bought it. But I'm really happy to have it as a gift. Like, this is a very, very nice gift. I think it's perfect for this little top too, because the details are gonna sort of make it shine, you know. It's a great color. I need my awl. I just hate stepping over this cord over here. Yeah, I don't think they could charge this much if there was no linen in it. So I vote cotton linen blend as well. Especially since it's got some light drape. But that could be because of its very open weave. Ouch. I was going that direction, right? Yeah, okay. I'm already trying to think of a clever way to sew the sleeves. Why? But I do have lining, and I'm wondering if I even want lining, to be honest. Like I've put the sleeve on and it felt very comfortable. And it doesn't feel like a texture thing. Like I don't feel anything negative. Like it doesn't feel scratchy. I could see if your fabric was just a super hot mess on the inside, you might want to line though. Like if you were doing a fabric that frayed a lot. And this one isn't not fraying, it's fraying. So let's see how we feel after they're top stitched, if we want to line the sleeves. What's that? Oh, why are you creeping on my stream? Seeing if I'm talking about you. It's 47% linen, 11% recycled linen. Interesting. How do you know that? Where did you get that? It's not gauzy now. I'm going to top stitch it. Starting for a bit. It's on their website. It's on the website. Oh, okay, cool. This one's a little torquey right here because of the weird way I stitched it. I was going to go to that Instagram post that I sent you to see if it was there, or at least figure out what it was called to go on their website. Thank you. I should have taken that one out and stitched it better. All the others will be fine though. Oof, that was a little close. I did that a little wide, huh? I feel like the raw edge on the inside is kind of dictating where I'm stitching this, because I'm thinking, you know, if I enclose it, no lining will be necessary, because see, that's all you get. You get this. Why is it so dark? So you could trim it really low. Like what if you didn't, oh, that stitching doesn't look good. Anyway, if you didn't want to line the sleeves, I think what I would suggest, depending on what your, did that open up? Depending on what your fabric is, what I would suggest is using a shorter stitch length when you sew the seam. And then, I'm trying to brighten this up for you guys. But there's a weird glitch with this program lately. Like it's already a little dark, and then when I open it lately, it darkens again. So then I'm like, okay, all my sliders are all the way over here, but it's dark. So yeah, I would sew the seam together with a slightly shorter stitch length. And then you could trim it really close, and then mostly enclose the seam with your top stitching. Trying to keep the back stitch in the seam allowance. Definitely use a top stitching foot because I am definitely not the poster child for nice top stitching. Like, it's kind of far away. Yeah, kind of like a fake French seam. I mean, it is like a French seam. You're just doing it on the right side rather than the wrong side. And you're not completely enclosing it unless you want to. Did you guys think these sleeves would be this easy? I feel like none of you are really interested in these sleeves except me, but not too bad, right? Quick. Hardest part of this garment is top stitching the center front. There we go. It's kind of fun. Define easy, right? Exactly. Monica has never met a sleeve she doesn't like. Dawn, I wonder if you could do a long sleeve version of this. That would actually be almost more Star Trek-y. Can you imagine these seams going all the way down? I sort of love the idea of that. And I'm not always cold. I kind of like being cold. I'm not gonna lie. The trick stitch itch is that you guys can't see my sewing up close. When I taught at that show last year at Sew Expo, I brought a lot of examples, and most of the examples were my clothes, right? Especially with the like seam finishing class, I have so many like places where these seam finishes are used differently. And just sewing a little sample of it is just not quite putting it in context, so I brought a lot of my clothes. And having all of my clothes are very personal for all of us, and I am not immune to that. Having all my clothes sitting there on this table and people looking through my clothes at the seam finishes, I was like, well, the jig is up. Everyone knows like what sewing really looks like in person, right? If you've ever watched me. And some of these people probably never heard of me. They just took the class because it was seam finishing, you know? But I still remember what a couple people said, nice things that people said. And I can't remember how this one woman said it, but I felt so much more relieved that she said, well, goodness, I never know things could be so cute. And she just meant like the insides of the garment. Because a lot of people don't see the insides, right? I mean, if you saw it sewn live, you get to see that there's a cute inside fabric. But I also sew things that haven't been made on camera. And, you know, sometimes you don't have enough fabric for the inner waistband, so you use a cute contrast or cute bias. I love using things like that, or pocket fabric, right? And I kind of forget that all clothes don't look like that anymore, right? We're also used to handmade stuff. I'm also trying not to look handmade. Oh, there you go. do I try and just cut it out, or do I fix it? Because now I'm going to have a back stitch there, and we all know how I feel about back stitches in the middle of my top stitching. This thread looks really good on here. Get Michael to come here. What? Okay. Well, let's make sure I pulled it out, right? I did, right? Yeah, okay. All right. I'm kind of thinking I'm not going to do the lining. I don't really want these to get bulkier, you know? The lining is sewn where you sew them hem together along the seam here and then fold it up, and then I think you treat it as one. So I think, oh, look at that. There's a little piece of that thread woven into the fabric. I probably need a magnifying glass for this, but I usually pull these out. Do you guys pull these out? A thread that is probably not the same fiber because it didn't dye. That's how I can see it. Do I leave it? Oh, it's like with that thread. Should have done from the other side. I don't want a little hole. I don't like the white. There we go. Okay, at least it's pulled to the back. What is that? The lining is just a sleeve. So you could just put regular sleeves on this if you don't want this, but I feel like it's kind of extra to buy this pattern just for a pleated yoke, because you could just pleat any yoke, but I really don't like how far away from the edge my stitching is, but I'm gonna let it go. This is the muslin, right? Okay, so which way would you press your pleats, your edge stitches? I'm going to French seam this into the bodice, I think. I like the color of the thread a lot. You'd line it. How come? Oof. I mean, I could. A lot of threads. Okay, well we can, they're cut, so we can line it. I think the way you do this, let's find the front and the back. Here's the back. Let's make sure I have a left and a right. And then, so I think you do this. So the bottom. Which way we press in these? Honestly, don't really like how Could I burrito this? Could I, do I want to? The fins. Yeah, I'm thinking middle to the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. It's uneven? That's annoying. I'm gonna do that. I was thinking burrito, like, as far as, like, enclosing the armhole seam. You know? Is that just a little extra? Because I got to do something to finish that edge. So I was going to do a French seam. Oh, I just did 4 to the back. You think that? All right, so this is the back of the sleeve. You're thinking this. You're thinking this. Or this. That's what I was doing. Look at how they cascade. Yeah, one's at the center. Let's see if there is a notch at the top. You gotta kind of stretch it to find where it's at. Yeah, the notch is this fin right here. So you think like that or that? I kind of like that. Because, you know, sleeve comes forward a little bit is what I'm thinking. I guess we'll see. If you're making this, you can see what you would do. Once you see mine. Okay, I'm at the, okay, now I can push them forward. It's no joke though, man. They're thick. They're like, they're thick. I just broke the thread. I could probably switch to a regular thread now because, but I don't want to have to fix the tension. Oh, that's an interesting idea, Andrea. Let's look at that. Fin. I like the fin thing. So basically, like, just twist it. So it's confused and it doesn't know what to do. See, it kind of does. Look, it does kind of confuse it. It'll make it stick out. So you guys like this idea, 4 towards the front. Let's see. Wrong studio. So let's see here. So that's 3 towards the, let's put that center, it's about right here. And then 4 towards the front. I don't think I want to twist it. I don't want it sticking straight out. Yeah, I agree, Tiffany. Thank you, Andrea. I heard you. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. It should go to the back. So 1, 2, so like this. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that looks more natural as far as like the silhouette. The center fin towards the back. Yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. So like this is how I'm going to do it. Yeah. What does the picture look like? All right, you're not going to hear me for a second, but I'll pull up the thumbnail. Sorry, I keep doing that. I have two whole profiles. So it looks like they did 4 toward the front. And I wonder too, like, it might not be sewn that way, but then they did it for the photo to accentuate it. You know? Thanks, Monica. Do what you want to do. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I override, you know. Let's pull this thread to the inside. Oof, Bimberg is struggling. I'm going to understitch it, but I sort of want to pull it more to the inside. You know what I mean? I'm going to understitch it, and I might top stitch it too. I don't want this showing at all because it doesn't match. I couldn't find enough. That plaid I had was a 1/4 yard. So it was like 9 inches by 44 inches. It was really long and narrow. So then when this, will it fold? We're going to have to top stitch this puppy for sure. Yeah, exactly. No one will see it if I can do the hem correctly, or so that it doesn't. The sleeve looks like a completely different shape, but I promise they're the same. Look at that. It's because it's pulled. Okay. We're trusting the process right now. All right, so this one, this is the back. So this is how we want this. I just figured something really lightweight and slippery would be kind of more ideal, you know? That's why I picked this. And, but I would have done something kind of fun and cute if I had it. And I had some options, but I was kind of like, you know, all these are going to make this sleeve like really stick out. I'm not really going for that. I kind of like them gently falling. It'd be really interesting to see this in something like a really lightweight drapey fabric. I'm not saying maybe rayon, but you know what I mean? Oh, okay. They do a alarm thing here because of the Paradise Fire. And they talk on the siren thing before they do the siren, and that freaked me out because I could hear a man's voice and I thought they were standing right outside my window talking. That's funny. I've never heard the talking before. And now there's like a whole siren going. You can't hear. It's like their advanced warning system. Oh yeah, they're saying something like, this is a test. Yeah, I don't think Ran would show off all the work either, but I am kind of curious how it would do that. I think I pulled this too hard. Look at that. I finally ran out of bobbin. That's why we wound 2. You can hear that. Oh, see, Terry said she couldn't hear it, so I thought maybe you guys couldn't hear it. What if you did drapey, but you changed the shape of the points, right? Like you could round these or scallop them. I mean, the pattern drafting's done. You could have some fun with it, you know? I wonder. You could faintly hear it. Yeah, today it was kind of loud. Oh, maybe because it's cloudy. Maybe that's it. It's kind of unsettling. I've never heard the talking before, and I knew it was there, but I just never had heard it. I'm kind of centrally located, so I should be able to hear all of it really well. But if I had music going on in here, I would not hear that. There's no way. I've missed so many of those. Yeah, we like scallops, huh? Okay, so let's just look at the directions, just in case there's something I should know. Oh, it's so much text. Okay, top stitch near the edge of your panel. 0.8 inches from the sleeve's edge. 0.8 inches. That can't be right. Start and end the top stitching. Oh, I was supposed to stop the top stitching before the top. Oops, sorry. Okay. The right side push the lining. Okay, so two rows of gathering stitches. Okay. Yeah, then there's like from numbers 35. So you're supposed to ease the sleeve. There's no ease, so you can skip that. Pin the main layer of the sleeve onto the arm side of the body. Match the front arms. Okay, match the back. Match the bodice. Okay, yeah. Remove the sleeve from the butt. Remove the sleeve from the bodice arm's eye for a while. Remove the sleeve from the bodice arm's eye for a while. Next, gather the sleeve lining layer until okay. There's legit like 7 or 8 steps for the whole easing of the sleeve, but there's no ease. Someone serge. They want you to serge everything. All right, well. No, it says 0.8 inches. That's almost an inch, right? So it's because it says top stitch near the edge of each panel seam using regular thread in a contrasting color. Start and end the top stitching about 0.8 inches from the sleeve's edge. So like almost 7/8 of an inch or 2 centimeters. So that you have just enough room to open the seam allowance. So basically, I have all these tucks. You wouldn't have to pick a direction to turn your fins if you follow the directions correctly. So basically, they're saying stop your stitching like here on all these so that can be open and flat into the seam. So yeah, okay. I am going to press the seam here. I'm going to then treat the rest of the seam as one. I'm hoping I don't have to zoom if I do this correctly. Something like that. Okay. Yeah, that's actually true, Susan. There just isn't any on the lining though. So you're kind of right. I didn't catch that. I feel bad. There isn't any easing on the sleeve lining though. I did test that. So maybe if you... So is my sleeve going to have a ton of ease? No, because I took it all up with the tucks. Yeah, okay. So basically, I counteracted the ease they put in by top stitching, but then I had added ease because there wasn't any on the sleeve. All right, and then I think I'll top stitch. I don't know, do you think I need to? I don't know. Do I want to iron it? Kinda want to iron it. I read that so many times too, but I missed that. Shoot. This is why I think sometimes, like, I don't really feel like sewing instructions should be teaching you how to sew. It's nice when they teach you things, but I also wouldn't mind, I do think telling you the reason they're doing something is really helpful. So if they had said something like, you want to stop the stitching of your top stitch before the ends so that your sleeve can be flat at both ends and you have the ease left, I think that would be something to kind of sort of make you pay attention, you know? Like, it's not their fault I missed that. But it would have been handy. Oh, right, I know. I love my iron. I love it. I sometimes, the other day, I wore wrinkly clothes here, shut my door, and then took them off and ironed my clothes before the stream. Yeah, and I don't think it's their obligation to teach you how to sew, but except to clarify, and I think and also to teach you how they did it, but that's it. And I think, like, people get kind of a little bit salty about that, and I get it. And I think because indie patterns have really changed that landscape. There's nothing wrong with them teaching, but I don't think it's up to them. So when people get really upset about, like, how am I supposed to know how to do that? And I'm like, well, you know, you could learn that, and then it's applicable to every pattern. And that, I think that's a kind of like it's just the way sewing and patterns are now is just different than it was before. And so it's just a different way to do it. And I think it's cool. It's great. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I'm sort of looking at this and wanting to trim this to match a little bit better. It's not that far off, it just looks like it, and it's because the sleeve can kind of poke in there. But the Bimberg is a little bit fiddler. I don't want to lose my ease, you know? It's super stretchy. Do you see that? Look. Right, Susan? I know. So this notch, I think, was supposed to line up with this. For full disclaimer, I love this iron. I love the way it irons. I think you can get an iron that does it really similarly. I feel like it's really affordable since I had been buying Rowentas for $80 for years, and this one was $120. I think that's a huge upgrade for $40. But I will say it's you got to go into it knowing that it's a whole thing because it is hot. You don't accidentally leave it on. You would quite literally burn everything down if you did and it fell or something. The little silicone mat they give you, it slides off of that and it landed on my wooden table and was burning it during a workshop once. You have to be able to suspend the water. I can't touch the knob, it's too hot, so I put a thing over it and I don't adjust it. So there's a lot of quirks with this thing, but it works great. The ironing's amazing. Yeah, it can make your room hot. Like I have to turn it off sometimes. Between that and my really nice editing computer, they make my room really, really warm. Exactly. Well, I don't think it is, Hillary. It's an optical illusion a little bit. Like it will work. The Bemberg is just so loosey-goosey. Because I did add ease at the underarms here. So I actually think I need to trim down the sleeve. But we'll just put it up to the armhole. I'm not worried. I tested this with the sewn sleeve and I tested the pattern. And when I laid the pattern pieces on the lining piece, they were identical. So that to me says there was no ease. That doesn't say that. That's so interesting because when I tried the lining to the garment, oh, I don't have it here. I have it here, right? When I tried the lining sleeve only, there was no ease. It worked in the armhole perfectly. You know what I mean? Yeah, you don't have to fill your iron as much, that's true. So let's look at the armhole to it. Oh my gosh, I'll just flip it over. I didn't want to flip it over because of the it's not lining up. Wait, where is it? Oh my gosh, I'm lost. Yeah, so there's that right there. And that right there. So the sleeve is a little larger. Okay. Do I top stitch this bottom? I kind of like the way it looks like that. No drips, so much seam, yeah. Heavy, I love how heavy it is. I really think this is the rayon, you know, but I'm not sure. This is the thing, I did check the sleeve, but I couldn't check it perfectly. But it lined up, it all lined up. That's why I think it's my rayon, you know what I mean? And maybe my top stitching is a little larger. Gee, I wonder why nobody ever sponsors me to sew their patterns. Sometimes I want to sew tutorials for patterns, like just like straight through, like step by step, just the step, not a lot of talking, you know. And I know people will be like, yes, do that, but I think that would also make a lot of people mad, the pattern companies mad, because they like to sell their things. And actually follow the directions. Like, I wouldn't just do all this, except for where I could make it easier to sew. Yeah, exactly. The yardage. Yeah, totally. Jelly bean. You know what I mean, jelly bean? Did your mom say that to you growing up too? You know what I mean, jelly bean? My mom was so fun growing up. She was really fun. Everything has a voice. Like, she animated everything, you know? I'm gonna, I'm gonna keep these edges together. You got it from me? Oh, that's funny. Well, I'm glad to transfer that. I don't know where my mom got it from, but that's where I got it from, is from my mom. I also added seam allowance to this edge so I could French seam it. But I am, I'm hesitant right now. I'm feeling hesitant. Do you think I should back the fins out? I should, huh? After I trim the sleeve. I don't want to do the back, the French seam with these little seams in there. You know? I think it'll be really thick. See you, Stitch Itch. Yeah, are you guys saying yes because of that? You guys are all yes, yes. I don't, okay. Okay. Oh, I have to watch the time today. I have to like not dally. I have a fitting consult that someone booked at 2. That's in a couple hours. We're okay. But I don't want to be late. Okay, see ya. Off to other parts of the interwebs. I thought you left a long time ago. Have fun. Storming the castle. It's only a half-hour thing, though, so if I don't eat before, I'll eat after. Like right here. I don't really like them and have all these back stitches now. I mean, I would have anyway, but... You guys, why are you making me do this? Thankfully, I did stop backstitching through part of the sleeves. So like that. It's still going to add bulk, by the way, because we have a seam there. Yeah, I was hoping Michelle would have room in her camper van for me, Monica. Oh, I haven't seen that. I keep meaning to watch parts of their 50th thing. Just because I do think there are parts of it that I would enjoy. I need to be consistent here. You can? Okay, cool. Thanks. You'd probably have to accept Loki too. I'm sorry. I'm just going to apologize for him in advance. He's a whole vibe. You have to get used to hearing someone breathe and snore constantly, and the world revolving around him, and you know. But Michael travels too much. I can't leave him at home. I feel like now I'm going to not have enough sleeve lining by doing this, but we'll see. The good news is the Bemberg is pretty forgiving. Just when you thought we were almost done. Oh no, that's funny. He was snoring so loud last night. I was recording some videos for So Liberated recently, and I had to talk around the snoring. I finally went over there and just sort of like arranged him a little bit differently. Because I was like, the mic won't really pick that up. So I did a test. I was like, oh yeah, the mic picks all of it up. So here's how you do a small bust adjustment on a princess seam. It's just like, oh my God. Mike, wake up. I didn't want to wake him up though, because then he'll bug me. Yeah, he does. He, you know, being the big protector he is, he does a lot more RBA. That's what we call random barking activity in our house, you know, where you're just like, what are you barking at? And there's nothing. The RBA gets increased a little bit. And in the evening, sometimes he will just go downstairs, because I hang out upstairs. I like have a little setup upstairs where I hang out, and like with TV and stuff. He will sometimes just stand at the top of the stairs or at the bottom of the stairs and just bark, because like I require that somehow. I don't know. You know? Yeah, run to the doors, exactly. He also thinks he can trick me into thinking dinner time is at a different time. And I'm like, dude, I know what time dinner time is. Yeah. It took less time to sew these together. You can't lie, right? You can't deny that, right? Oh wait, this one's not gonna, this one is really not the same shape. We're gonna do that like that. And now we're gonna, oh yeah. Okay. Last one. There we go. Yep, the RBA. Yeah, that's funny. Exactly. We have a new routine now that I'm like working in the little cottage at home, because the problem is like between the 2 time changes, Loki is kind of like, hey, it's time to eat at like 4. And I'm like, dude, I work for 2 more hours. That's not happening. And so sometimes I bring him to the house, open the door, and just shut the door and leave him at the house. This is going to be too narrow, look. Anyway, now Michael comes and gets him at like 5, which is really kind of funny. Like, our world does revolve around him, which is kind of annoying too. So, yeah. All right, so let's put this gathering or easing stitch in here. And now we can spread this out a little bit better. Kind of pressing those seams somewhat open, but somewhat flat. It's so stretchy, this fabric. Like, not the fabric, sorry. I mean, it just means because of the angles. I kind of want to leave this lining off for sure now because I've changed this length here. And the Bemberg is not going to be the right size for it since I trimmed it down. Why are you guys right about this? I don't think this is going good. Let's see. You're right, but I kind of painted myself in a corner. Oops, I didn't go all the way. I painted myself in a corner with this. I really think I need to leave the lining off. It's going to be a problem. Sorry, guys. I really like how it looks down here a lot. Like, I love the way this looks. You know what I could do? Oh, you guys will kill me. I don't know. This isn't gonna work. Is it gonna work? Let's just see. I did need to go all the way here though. I meant to stop at the notches that I lost, which is right here. When I do streams now, I literally feel like I don't know how to do anything anymore. I know how to do things, but I feel like it looks like I don't know how to do anything anymore. I'm so out of practice. And, well, and I keep picking really crazy projects. You know, because I'm just doing like the things that I find really interesting, and I don't know, it's really annoying to me. Well, that's what I was going to suggest, Hillary, and I thought you guys would all kill me because you're going to have to watch me take apart all those ends again. Like, it actually does fit on here, and I'm realizing it'll gather up and it'll fit. I think it's going to be fine, and I'm overreacting. But, you know, I'm just going to tack that there like that. And I think this top layer will be easier to pull. I think it'll be better than what I'm thinking. I'm kind of panicking a little bit, and I don't need to. I'm not fishing for compliments. I just don't like disrespecting patterns, you know. I know that these companies put a lot of work into them. Then I come along and I'm like, I changed this and I changed that. But it is part of the process, and that's partly why I stream. I just want everyone to know, like, it's a process. We all do stuff. We all change things. And this is what people are doing at home, regardless of what pattern companies think. Thanks, Monica. Oi. Please get past that. These seams are really hard to gather through. Oh man, I just can't gather through that one. We just need a little bit. Okay, there we go. All right. This is the back. Let's try it. Why aren't we setting this in? Why did they have me do that? We're setting this in. Like, after all this, we're not going to compromise that. Okay, so let's do our underarm here because, yeah. I spent some time fitting that sleeve. I wanted it to look nice, and I firmly believe setting it in makes the sleeve hang nicer at the underarm especially. So let's put our French seam in the side seam real quick here. Okay, we're going to need to iron that. They did say something about that, but I think you do the underarm all at once. And I'm not joking. There was no ease in that sleeve. So sometimes when I see things like that, like if the instructions are saying something like that, like they teach you how to ease the sleeve in, but there's no ease. In my opinion, then I'm starting to not trust that they're like copying and pasting some of the instructions. So I feel like, I can do what I want. This doesn't change how the garment's going to work. It still needs a side seam, you know. Oh, and then let's do this one here real quick. Why aren't you pulling out? You're like 5 stitches long. Come on, there we go. Okay, we're just gonna put this right sides together. The pins aren't going into I have this little like pie bite. I call it a bite of pie. And they're not going into they keep bouncing out. I don't know what I did wrong. Okay, we can just do this. We don't have to do a French seam for the sleeve since we have the lining. There we go. And then we'll press the sleeve, the seam open. There we go. Now we have our little sleevey sleeve. it to lay flat together. My God, this is so fussy. Okay. All right, there we go. Press that. That looks nice, doesn't that? Yeah, okay. Do this one. Before we stitch it this time. There's some sun peeking out. All right, let's do a little pressing. Then we can put our sleeves in. I get really turned around with which direction the camera is going. Where'd the, oh. I'll just press it real quick at the underarm. Just making sure it's all pressed open. This looks really cute. Look at the okay, let's do this underarm. Getting hung up on something there. Maybe I should just have an ironing stream. I mean, look at that. It's still ironed right there. Oh, I'm going to forget to top stitch that. Watch. Oh, this is what it's getting hung up on. This is pin. Why is it so bright over here? You'd be all over that ironing stream. It does sound really nice, doesn't it? Like kind of good ASMR. Do you guys remember when I retrofitted that black gingham dress, and I made I made like a sort of like a modified Girl Friday blouse, and I told myself I'm gonna make a skirt with all this extra gingham because I you know, had so much left over. Plus, I had so much from the dress that just didn't get sewn. It was like this ridiculous amount of gingham. Well, anyway, I have like, I kind of made like a plan of things I really want to get done like this year, kind of, you know, and that's one of them. I want to make the matching skirt to that blouse because I like the blouse a lot, but doesn't really go with a lot of my pants because it's cut like to sit at the waist. And I think a skirt would be really cute because then it would look like a dress. And I was thinking about using the Flirt skirt by Stock's Patterns, and I don't have enough fabric, which is really annoying because I have so much fabric, but that skirt is not surprising because it's got this really cool, like, you know, movement to it, right? And I love that skirt because I used to have one that I bought from Target like eons ago, right? And I copied the pattern and used to make myself a lot of these little skirts, right? And it's kind of a similar silhouette and concept that the Flirt skirt is. It's not the same. The Target skirt is like a paneled skirt with lots of godets. Hey, Terry, congratulations on your son's promotion. That's so exciting. It's a family accomplishment. But anyway, you have to cut 6 of, it's one pattern piece, by the way. Her skirt pattern is one pattern piece. It's pretty clever. It's a very, you know, cool thing. But you need 6, and it's an interesting shape. So I can't get enough gingham. It's kind of a bummer. And I could just find a different skirt, but I was kind of hoping to kind of take care of 2 things at once, you know, sew the Flirt skirt pattern that I've had for a long time, and I think she gifted me. She for some reason credits something about that Flirt skirt pattern to me. And I think it's because I use the term modular, and then she gave me a pattern, and I don't know how that came about. It was very nice and sweet, and I've talked with her via Zoom once before. She's very nice. But I couldn't get it printed. Like, it just wouldn't print on my printer, so it took me a while to get it printed. Now I have a printer I kind of like. It was a long test today, but they all did great. Test of patience or testing them? If I found matching, Oh, like with the panels? You could do that. You could probably do that and pull it off. You're right. Yeah. I want it to look like a dress. That would still look like a dress though, right? Like you wouldn't be able to tell. I wonder if I have I doubt I have a solid black in my stash. Okay, one of my tips about stopping your stitching from the edge is mark the same spot on all your seams so that your stitching is going to be in the same spot on all of them, because I don't think mine is. So there's another one of my Priceless Tips by Saremy. Oh, interesting. Okay. I don't even know what he's being promoted for. I thought it was a grade or graduation from school. Is it like karate or a martial art? Is that kind of the promotion? Because that's really cool too. This is, you haven't missed anything, Terry. It's just more seam ripping. We get so close, and then I get it so close, and then I'm like, I yoink it away. Oh, karate. Okay, cool. That's exciting. I know who I'll feel safe around. Hillary's laughing because partly it's Hillary's fault. Hillary's like, what did I do? Oh, that's so cool. I thought about doing something completely out of character for myself and something different. Maybe that's what I should do, is like do a martial arts class or something. There's also a art studio here actually in town that has a pottery whole thing that you can do. And I thought, I've never been really attracted to doing pottery myself, but it would be something also totally out of my comfort zone. Maybe I could do the like local, what's a place where they put on plays called, like theater? Maybe I could go to the local theater company and do that. Did I just do this? That's not very far away. Like, what am I thinking? Wait, what did I say that was ageist? Oh, Monica did. Yeah, Monica. I can't keep my 22-year-old awake if their life's dependent on it. What are you talking about? Well, that, exactly, Andrea. That is a legit concern, a very legit concern. I would like to meet more people, right? But I tend to be one of those people that other people recognize as capable of doing anything, and I get saddled with it. And then after a while, and I love to help. That's the problem. I love to help. I love to be a part of a team and doing stuff. But there is sometimes a point where you realize, oh, these people don't care about me. They don't like me. They love my skills or the ability to get stuff done. What if I did it and I didn't tell anybody I knew how to sew? What would be my cover though? Like how would I go about that? Serious question. I decide, I don't know what I would want to do at a theater company. Like maybe I would either, I don't know how to act. I can't sing. So do I volunteer and just say, hey, I was wondering if you ever need volunteers for anything. I don't even like watching plays. Like I love it, but I don't. It makes me a little uncomfortable. Like I have mad respect for it. It sounds really fun too. Okay, I can tell them I can paint. I can't paint. What are you talking about? Pottery sucks the moisture. I don't need that. I do know how to knit. That's scary. I'm not very good at decorating. Do I have to come with a skill? Can't I just say I would like to help? Oh, Meals on Wheels. Oh, that's interesting. I do like to drive my truck. The set painting is very casual. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, so, all right, okay, but let's get back to the cover story. So, yeah, we'd love to have you help out. We'll find something for you to do. All right, cool. Day 1. So, Saremy, tell us about yourself. What do you do? What do I say? Because literally my life revolves around sewing or something sewing related 23 hours a day, you guys. So, am I lying? Yeah, I need the cover story with the what? That was my initial question, Susan. That's what I work for the government. I can't tell you. Okay, I don't like to lie, but yeah, okay. I think you guys are right. Maybe this is my training to learn how to act. I'm a consultant. Okay. I make how-to videos. I could be in the video booth. That sounds really cool. I make how-to videos. What kind of how-to videos? Whatever comes my way. No, that sounds too, that might lead me into trouble. Like, I'm really serious, you guys. Let's not start below this seam. We're just going to have trouble anyway. This sleeve's going to fit different. I can already tell than the other one. Oh, they will Google me. That's so true. God dang, I hate this world we live in sometimes. Can't a girl just want to go somewhere and make some friends and not be the lackey? Come on. The hilarious thing would be, they would be on to me once they would be on to the fact that I was trying to hide it, right? Oh, go into another, a new me. Oh, okay. Oh my God, I'm so bad at lying. Tell them the sewing is cut. Okay. Just be me. I don't know. So I feel like they would Google me, they would find out, and they're like, this woman knows how to sew, and she's not telling us for a reason, because she knows we would ask her to sew for us. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's the everybody knows, but we don't talk about it. Did I not fix this one? I did not fix this one. I don't think I fixed this one. Okay. This is actually sounding kind of like a fun adventure. If I don't pass out the first day from nervousness, you know. Nothing. I'm giving them a lot. They would not Google me. I would. I'd be Googling all those people when I got home. Monica's right. We're both creeps. Right, Dawn? Exactly. You know what? I think you're right, Terry. I think you're right. Yeah, exactly, Sylvia. Exactly. What did you eat? Nothing. Oh. Yep, and if the passive aggressive stuff starts, you know, and the guilt, I'll just know they're just not my peeps. I feel like that's happened to me so many times, you know, and people are like, how come you never come? What do you mean, how come I never come? All you want me to do is stuff that I don't want to do. I told you I want to do this. You make me do that. Be me. Okay. Yeah, I'm honestly a really good liar and a terrible liar all at the same time, right? Like if someone asked me to hem their pants, I 100% can pull off the lie, oh, I'm sorry, I just don't know how. That, no problem. I have no problem doing that. But I know I would slip after a while. So, yeah, I think you guys are right. Okay. I like the Meals on Wheels thing too. I'm not sure if that's up here, so maybe they would need that. There's not a lot of people up here, and especially people who are in that program, I bet. I'm not sure if that's only for over a certain age. There's just not a lot. Yeah, I don't want to get macabre. There might be, Hillary, yeah, in the city, in the town. It's not really a big city either. All right, we're finally about to put a sleeve on. Can you believe it? So this one is the... Let's see. Maybe, Andrea. I think partly I would do it because I know how to do it, and then I could be comfortable doing a good job at something. Not because I think it would look fantastic, because I know like budget constraints and everything makes it so that's a little hard sometimes. Yeah, Sylvia, people have a big problem washing their clothes before they give them to you for alterations. I totally agree with you. Yeah, I used to do that a lot for people when I worked on the farm, and I got paid in like juice or something like that. Like I didn't get money. I didn't care about the money was fine, but they didn't have money usually. I knew I was putting the sleeve on the wrong one. But you know what? You cannot trust someone who works at a farm to have washed their clothes recently, and you do not know what they have been in. So you got to be specific. I would just be like, you got to wash those. Like I can literally see mud and poop caked on there, you know? Yeah, exactly, Aisha. Exactly, Tiffany. All right, so there is my seam, and 1, 2, 3. Here we go. This goes here. Pull this a little bit more. You think I would cave, Monica? You know what the thing is? This is partly my rule now with stuff like that. Because you're right, I will do over an extra, and I'm trying to not do that, and I've worked really hard the last 10 years to be good about that. But like the way I look at things like that is if I cannot do it during the time I am volunteering for them, like they're on site, then I just go to that time limit and then I'm done, right? And that's not the case a lot of times because nobody's realistic. Like, it's just like when I'm helping someone and they've said, oh, they've paid for an hour of my time or whatever. I have to be really careful not doing a ton of work beforehand. When I'm like, you're not getting paid for this time. You're getting paid for the hour with them. You know, you got to be honest about it. And it's really hard. And I think it's easy to discount that and go, but I need this. I need to do this little bit of prep or whatever. Well, the thing is, like, if you're not getting paid well enough to include it in the time with the person, then you've structured it wrong, you know? Yes, I am. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Okay. You just scared me, Susan. I was like, did I put this together wrong? I am French seaming it. I don't think this is how they have you serge it, and they have you do the easing on both a little separately. I don't know why. My lining's very thin, so maybe that's why they're thinking maybe someone wouldn't have a really thin lining, but oops, I want that not to get caught. Okay. I'm really hoping I just catch everything because it is a little bit fiddly with all those little seams. Can you guys see okay? You scared yourself? Okay, wait, is this gonna go here? Okay, yeah. I could really use some gathers up here past this point. Let me slide some past it. Like right here. I can still ease this even though I've already sewn there. I just need it right here. You can see, okay, good, thanks. I was thinking the art place, my mom might be interested in doing that with me. So that was one of the reasons I was thinking about that place. Because she does a lot of art stuff. So you see that one? That one isn't very far down either. Did I miss that one too? No, it's just really close. All right. I'm gonna take a peek. I might not have cut the lining in a couple places, so I just want to check it. Right here. That's it? Okay. We'll take that. My hands get really hung up on these little architectural things. Okay, so right here, it's just... It's probably because I was trying to stay away from this angle because look, I didn't back that one off very much. All right, we can trim this one down. I like to leave my thread there because then I can pull it out later. And I think like it'll relax a little bit, you know? The easing stitch is what I'm talking about. Okay. I gotta go into let's sew faster mode right now. This top is a lot faster to put together than I've made it look. I know better now too. Like I think I've learned to trust instructions just to do it the way they have it, even if I'm like, that's not how I would normally do that. Not that it's wrong. I just have, you know, you have your ways you like. Because they've thought of things you haven't thought of, you know? You got to trust them. Some companies, yeah, they may not have really thought it through, but most of the ones we also, they're fine. I've got this little gap here. I'm just going to trim this down a little bit so we have a nice smoother. That juncture wasn't very spot on. And this sleeve didn't get trimmed down. I left it. I'm trying to balance all these different seam lengths. I have a little less than an hour, but I did get the things all together for it, and I know what they need. I'm prepared. I made sure of that because they took the time to book. And I have a plan. It looks so much more gathered than it really is. But we know I didn't miss the sleeve lining this time, don't we? We'll trim and press and sew. Trim and press and sew. You know what? I just realized I don't have a project planned for next month. What should it be? I really need to do at least one wrap dress this year. I have bought so many wrap dress patterns. I have bought some fabric, not much. I have one that I really wanted. It's not going to work for me. So that could be an option. I'm not really in the mood for a wrap dress. Trim, press, and sew. Exactly, it is. It's our mantra, right? Is that how I do this? Yeah. Pull it up a little higher. Got the salami. Ooh, we're getting a glimpse of how it's gonna look. I actually like to do this from the other side, so we're gonna turn it the other way. I think sitting in sleeves with lots of ease is a lot easier when you French seam it. I know it probably looks like a hot mess when I'm doing it, but that's the beauty of it, because it will all kind of come together then. And we pull, pull, pull. Right on that edge there. Adjust, pull. Did I not trim that very much? Because look at how far away this seam is. It should have been at 5/8 almost. Maybe I should make a follow-up video of this where I just sew it start to finish, step by step, exactly how it's done. No, it's not. Are you talking about a set-in sleeve, Dawn? It depends on the fabric. If your fabric is really thick, you might want a little bit more. But people French seam with very small seam allowances, especially things like see-through fabrics, like really thin see-through fabrics. That I feel like French seaming, when I first learned about it, that's what it was mostly marketed to me as a sewing technique. It was for, and it's probably because at the time there was a lot of chiffon blouses in the world, you know, like people were wearing, like that would be like the dressy blouse you would wear, and it would be mostly, you know, you wear camisole under it, and it was very 80s, right? And because they're basically see-through, the seam allowances would be really, really narrow and French seamed. Remember, sergers weren't a thing, and serging chiffon is so tacky. Sorry, it's a little tacky of the kind of blouse I'm talking about. So you would have 100% have to enclose it because the fabric also shreds like a mother trucker. So, so yeah, I mean, like 3/8. People do French seams with 3/8. If your fabric's really tightly woven, you could do narrower. But I personally like 1/2 or 5/8. I'm also not a couture sewist, right? I'm like a speed sewist, so I'm a little messy. But you could do I wouldn't do this sleeve with a 1/2 inch. It's too thick, like all those seams going into it. You could do it, but I wouldn't be doing it like the way I'm doing this so casually. These gathers are too much right there. You're gonna have to adjust those. I used to really hate 5/8 seam allowances. I thought they were just way too wide. And you can tell by that I wasn't French seaming then. I was probably doing a lot of serger, you know. I think as sewists we go through phases. And when you're learning to sew especially, there are people who go through the phase of just happy to have something they made, to I want it to look store-bought, so then you go down the serger rabbit hole, and then you get a little past that and you go down the I don't want it to look store-bought, I want it to look even better. I want it to look so no one can tell it's homemade, but it's nicely made, because a lot of store-bought is budget made. We're not all buying store-bought stuff that is tailored made, right? Our experience with what we think store-bought looks like right now is kind of budgety, but it wasn't always like that. You know, store-bought would have been nicer for a long time. And now it doesn't equate to that. I think most people would agree with that. They don't think of store-bought as being the nice version, right? So oh, really? You feel like surgeon gets a lot of flack, Monica? That's a bummer. People should sew whatever they want and however they want. You know? Yeah, so when I was in school, the default seam allowances would have been, you know, 1/4 inch for anything that was a sleeveless armhole, necklines, collars, small things like that. Wovens in general, construction would have been 1/2 inch. 5/8 was very home sew. But you're also talking like they're training you to draft patterns for a factory where they're going to use a serger. And if it's woven, they're going to give you a 1/2 inch seam, and if it's knit, you're going to do 3/8. Because the less you trim, the less waste there is. So home sew patterns, when they give you 5/8 seam allowances and they say serge, that feels like a lot of waste to a lot of people when they're actually sewing those, you know. So, and personally, I like 1/2 inch seam allowances for wovens as well. It's also really easy to handle the seam allowance, but if I'm French seaming, just give me 5/8, you know. I can always trim it down, and I do, right? So I don't think there's any one thing that's perfect or correct. It just depends on what you want, because you're doing the work, you know. Let's see how I did here. Yeah, and see, like 1 centimeter is a lot of people's preference. It's just hard. I was like, what? It's just hard to do for some of the seam finishes. Here we go. Sweet. And here's my thread that I can pull now and hopefully pull out the gathering stitch. It'll help it relax a little bit more if I can get it, but I might not be able to. It's so satisfying when I can, but you know. Okay, we can get rid of some of it here. I can't pull this one because it's the bobbin, and I didn't pull the bobbin. In this case, the bobbin was not the looser thread. All right, we have one. Let's do this one. Yeah, I agree, Tiffany. The math is really easy with 1/2 inch seams. It's also, I feel like I can keep the garment a little more accurate with 1/2 inch seams. And that's kind of a really subtle thing to have to explain, but when you're making a parallel line to anything, and especially when you get into curves, the smaller the width, the more precise it can be. The wider it gets, the less precise your seam might feel when you're going to sew because you're like so far in, you know? Really hoping there's no tucks, because you know what? I actually can't tell because I'm seeing the lining, not the actual fabric. So I'm sort of just feeling in there. I'm being pretty firm with my hands because I can feel all those seams of the like angles, and they feel like a big fat tuck. They're not. Let's see here. Forget this doesn't have an opening. Okay. Once the seam allowance is pressed towards the sleeve, the tucks will go away. We got 2 threads, so that bodes well for getting rid of the gathering stitch. You guys really love this plaid. It was a Joanne fabric. Oh, look, I got the whole thing. Where's Ray? She would love that. It was a Joanne fabric print. You want a good look at it? I think the thread goes really good with it because of the yellow. I did do a muslin to check the fit, Andrea. So I kind of have an idea. I added a dart. It's cute. Look at the sleeves. They look really cool. Me walking through the grocery store. Get out of my way. Very cute. I think I'm going to skip the top stitch. You know? I don't know. I bet at lots of these stages you guys didn't have faith in this one. I don't like all these back stitches right here. I get that it does probably make sewing in the sleeve a little easier, but sometimes things are just a necessary evil. I was trying to be strategic that my back stitch would be, the bobbin would be on the side being pushed under. Yeah. I don't think it has to have the stitching here. I might think about it. Let's look at the inside. There's the inside view. So this is another mod I did. I just cut the facing. I cut the facing, but I cut it really narrow so that it was really easy to sew in. So it wasn't like trying to do bias binding there. So it laid flat. I clean finished the yoke. This is also a mod. And I think theirs looks better without the yoke because the seam gets pushed down. So the tucks lay really flat against the body. And I think that it looks really good. So that's probably something I would do differently next time. I added ease to the sleeves. That was another big one. And I added a side dart. That's a good idea, Andrea. I don't have matching thread, so that is my backup plan, but I don't have matching thread. I have lots of greens. I don't have this one, apparently. I could top stitch the bust dart. That could be something. And I'm going to do the hem, right? Green's really hard to match, especially online shopping. Maybe something like that. Yeah, right, Tiffany? I know. Gray is kind of my default. I think gray could work with, especially this color green. Let me make my side seams. Okay, there's just that one. Should we iron this first? Kind of low on time. I think it's going to be cute. Very cute. Maybe, Jenna. That's true, huh? I'd have to wait for him to get home. Well, I'm going to the fabric store anytime soon. But he is going to Boulder soon. So he could be like, I need thread to match. I have tried to be better about clicking the box to yes when it offers, when it's a color like this, or when it's a color like a teal. Teals and greens. I usually click the box if it's a solid fabric. All right, well, this was a journey. I'm going to leave it here because I'll do the hem. You guys don't need to see me do a hem. And I'm still thinking about the top stitch here. Because I'm kind of used to the idea of just top stitching it and it being offset from the front. I don't think it would look as bad as I think. It'd be like right here. Oh yeah, I should get that card, huh? Or I'll do the matching thread like Andrea said, yeah. I love the way the sleeves came out though. Is this how they're supposed to look? Because they look good. I like it. I like the hem a lot. Look at that. These right here are this. There aren't pin tucks, but there are some of the, there's tucks on the yoke here. And then the edge stitching on the sleeves kind of does like a pin tucky type thing. Needs a little pressing here. Because I remember I unstitched it here. The lighting keeps going in and out. What size did I make? I made the 4. So I tried the 5 and it was so huge, Hillary. And I think it's because I misunderstood their chart. They say they only give you a finished measurement chart. And so they say do that minus 3 inches is your best. So I printed the 4 and the 5. And then I did the muslin of the 5 and it was massive. It was like 10 inches too big. And the armhole was really low. So I raised my armhole as well. Yeah, I can't wait to try it on. I'll try it on later after my consult. So it looks really cute. I don't have my dress form here, so I have to try it on. I'll put the hem in first. That way, I'll try it on too so I can figure out the hem. Yeah, it looks really nice. I love the way the bottom of the sleeve looks. So, this shirt comes as another view called Callisto, and it has a lantern sleeve. So if you're not into this spiky thing, there is a dress version, but you could just put the lantern sleeve on the top. So you can, it comes with 2 views. So if you're interested in it. I don't know why I'm trying to sell their pattern. Because it's cool. Really fun. All right, well, I'm going to head out so I can get some luncheon. Thanks for struggling with me this week. It's been fun. I'll let you know what we're sewing next week or next month. Next week we have a quick fit. We have 2 more this month. And then I'm going to go into fitting bodice muslins. I think I think that for you guys, that's going to be good. Just seeing how we fit. So, yeah, me too. That's why I picked this. I'm mostly sewing on live streams things I want because of the process it is. You know, like I like process sews. So yeah, and this ticks a lot of boxes. The plaid really, like without the plaid, like you don't see the plaid when I'm wearing it. You know, so. Cool. I'm glad, you guys. Thanks for coming. I'll see you guys in the guild. I'll see you guys at Quick Fitness Thursday live, 2 p.m. Pacific. So have a good weekend. Bye.